right, welcome back. Well, sorry about that. We just had to sort out that tiny bit of a technical glitch there. Sorry, Mike, we cut you off in the middle of your submission.
It's okay. So if I can go back to your question, Mr. Wise, Bangura, right?
Yes.
You're asking how we're going to work with existing structures within the communication apparatus and state house. Was that your question? So like I said, if you were following me, if you an ardent social media butterfly, if you're following me on social media, I've been doing this for a couple of years, like providing reliable information to people out there. And I think one way, as a citizen, even if I'm far away, we all have ways we should contribute towards our country. And for me, disseminating information has been a passion for me. So I've been doing this when we were in opposition, engaging the then APC when they were in power, interfacing with them, bringing up social issues that we can discuss as a people, as a country. And I think it's the right time for the president making a judgment and say, hey, Mike, come on board and see how best you can help. And I am here for a simple reason. My mission is very explicit, Fabian. I am here to provide oversight and leadership within the communication sector and make the president available to the people, make the president the people's president.
When you say that, it brings to mind the level of authority you would have in making the call as to what the president gets to do. For example, I recall he had a massive media engagement going across different, media institutions to a point where there was a town hall meeting. But that also comes back to the president's willingness to agree to say, I would do this. How much authority would you have in instances when probably what you're proposing is not in line with what the president thinks is needed?
The good thing is the president is a friend of mine. Besides politics, we interact very on a personal basis. Even when I was overseas, we talk. And that's a bit of a blessing for me. And if I think bringing proposals to him, how best we can interface with people, he's someone who listens. He's a listening president. I know he has a busy schedule, but it's looking at his schedule and see how best we can fit into it. Talking to his people, I think that's something he will applaud a lot. But let's see how this goes. I am going to work with the existing apparatus that are already at State House. There's an amazing team there. They have a PK who's the policy advisor and also head of Strat Communication. We have Keke Thomas Lee, who's the press secretary, and I'm coming as director of communication. Phoebe, I'm not going to sit up there, right? My approach is going to be different. It's going to be unique. I want to interface with the public. I want to interface with the common people. I would have even loved to speak Creole here because I know your medium of communication is English, but I don't know if you can allow me to speak Creole.
We would get you another opportunity where that special program would have that target audience. Okay. But the plan you're putting forward to bring the people closer to the presidency, oftentimes we've had, even in interviews, people making a submission that our presidents come into office with humility. Along the line, the people surrounding them sort of build up a monster. They dissociate the concerns of the people with the presidency, so much that it's more of, praise singing to the president rather than communicating what the masses are saying. What difference would you be making in this area, and how would you do that?
Well, I'm also a very critical individual, and if you follow me on social media, I also bash my government when they do things that are wrong, when they do things that does not go in line with what the masses want, when they go out of the box. Because don't make no mistake, we are human beings. There's no perfection in humanity. There is no way it's going to be 100. There are things sometimes they go off the line, Fabian, right? So if you follow me on social media, I've bashed them a couple of times.
You are not in office.
Yeah, I'm not in office. No, I will. Well, there are critical things. I will have to take my time how to put it out there. But I'll be frank enough in our closed-door meetings, off cameras. I'll tell them, hey, guy, this is not right. Let me give you an instance. I came into office. I'm not actively yet on my desk, right? I can tell you how I got involved in this whole data saga, this fluoride thing. All right, the stuff came out like hiking prices of fluorides, and I know it was not timely. What I did, I called the NATCOM director who's out of town, Mr. Kaitibi. I say, what's going on? He explained to me about the Financial Act and they have stuff to do it. It's against his will. But he said I should talk to his corporate affairs, someone like Ben something. He called me, and I told him, hey, right, this does not sit well with the president. This is untimely. It's not welcomed by the people. Is there a way we can have alternative ways to see how best we can salvage this, right? And they said, okay, we're having consultations, alternative consultations right now going on. We're meeting. So they met in 24 hours. We saw change. Why am I saying this, Fabian? I'm saying this because these are some of the approaches I'm bringing, listening to the people, bring it to the authorities concerned. I know sometimes there are glitches. I know sometimes there are bureaucracies you go through. But like I said, I am not the type of director who's come and sit down in the office. I'm going to be in the street. I'm going to interface with people like you. I'm going to talk to you, talk to the media. I just did my engagement in Bo with radio station managers, wherein I spoke to about 6 of them, all right? And frankly speaking, they have their own concerns that are very, very legitimate, right? Why information is not sinking down to the common people out there, right? Who are the voters? Who are the people we are up there serving? So my approach is going to be different. I'm going to bring content creators. I'm going to work with bloggers. I am going to work with people in the drama sector. I'm going to work with print and local media, international tabloids, local tabloids. Anyone who I think has value in passing, disseminating information, I want to work with that person.
You're concerned about how information doesn't get down to the masses. And mostly, aside from social media, the authoritative source of their information is, registered media outlets in the country. And there are times when even us as media institutions do have a challenge. You invite certain public officials to come talk about their office or activities in their office. They don't show up. They would say, okay, we would be there, but they would not show up. You would invite them on and on and on, and they don't come. So there's a gap between the information that the public needs to get at a particular time and the information that's forthcoming. I know your office is in the office of the president, but how would your work extend to some of these areas, especially during this critical time when misinformation, disinformation is everywhere? You only look up to the authoritative sources to make themselves available to give out the information.
That's the void I'm here to fill, Fabian. That's why I said I'm going to have an open door policy. I interact a lot. Like, I'm not going to have a barrier with you, Fabian. I'm not going to have a barrier with Samuel. You can call me anytime if you need information through text. If I don't get to you right away, maybe I'll get to you as soon as I get that.
Mike, let me ask this question. We've had a number of issues when we deal with access to information or access to the people that we need. We've had people at State House whose phones would ring for 48, 72 hours without even returning your calls. I mean, as a media practitioner, you want to get things verified, you want to confirm certain information, and for 72 hours, you kept calling. If your calls are not being returned, text messages are not being replied to. And I've also had media practitioners complain about, we've always tried getting access, for example, to the president. We've seen the president granting interviews to international media houses. We've made attempts, but we're not getting any feedback from those around the president who should actually facilitate all of these things. So there's that wall, there's that barrier for, as many practitioners would see. So how different, I know you said you're going to be different, but the question is, how different is Mike going to be? How different will your approach be in ensuring that these barriers are cleared off the way?
The barrier breaker. That's why I'm here. Like I said to Phoebe, I'm here to fill the void, right? So I have a strategy, I have a plan. The first thing I'm going to do from now to December is launching a program called The President and the People. We'll anchor the president. I'm not sure where I'm going to do that, but I have a technical team who's working behind the doors to find a location and find an appropriate, a conducive place wherein we can interact with the president. So I'm going to have the president talk to the president, anchor the president, and after that, we are going to stream it on all digital platforms. We're going to do it live. We have open a phone line wherein people will ask questions. We make sure they broadcast it at all local televisions and radio stations around the country at the same time. Then after that, subsequent times, maybe I will call Phoebe and, hey Phoebe, I'm not going to host the president today. You come sit down and host the president, ask the president some critical questions, make the president be available to people. Maybe with time, I call the president, I call all media personnel and meet with the president. I remember after the August 10th, the president engaged civil society, engaged other people. I did not see, maybe I missed that, I did not see him engaging the media. Maybe there is more time for that. But these are some of these are some of the programs. These are some of the projects I want. Like I said, I want the president closer to you. I'm not saying you can text the president every time you talk to the president, but yeah, if you have questions, I will make myself available. I will make myself very common. You can see me anytime you want to see me, maybe socially, text messages, phone calls. I'll make myself available. And that's the void, like I said, I am going to fill. Because there's...
Quickly, are there messages that are available but not in the public domain? Are there things to sell about the president at this point that maybe the public is not aware of amidst the ongoing crisis in this country and the globe?
Yeah, a lot. This president has done extremely well, and this is some of the reasons. This is the key, the paramount reason why I took this job. You understand? Because to me, I think it's easy to disseminate information. I think the challenge we have is the method. The challenge we have is maybe how, when, and where this information should go. You know, it's not sinking down to people. Because now if you look at the world has changed dramatically. Social media, it's the new trend. It's like people going on social media on their handsets. They have everything on the go. So if we want to reach people, I think we have to change our dynamics. We have to change our approach. I'm disseminating information, not too much of press releases, right? Content creation, bring drama, talk shows like this. We are going to bring people ask frank and opinionated questions. I think these are some of the approaches I want to bring to the fray. You know, this is why I am here. And making sure if you want information, you can access it easily. That is why I'm here. I am not here to sit at the State House. I'm not here to sit and write speeches and close my door. If you want to talk to me, you cannot have access to me. If Phoebe wants to have a clarity on something, she couldn't have access to that. No, I want to break that barrier. This president has done immensely well amid this COVID, amid Ukraine war, comparatively to other countries around the world. Situation is bad. I get it. No country is doing well now in the whole world. Even where I came from, it's terrible. They've cut down jobs. There is homelessness. Unemployment is skyrocketing. If you take a look at Biden's rating, it's going down. So it's France, they're protesting. Things are hard. But here, we can say it's terrible. It's like the services are there. Like we pay teachers regularly. Civil servants get their salaries on time. Commodities are available even though they are expensive. They are available. Liberia, recently there is no rice there. They come to Sierra Leone to get rice. Ghana, their economy is down. They got a bailout from IMF. So with all these challenges and with these things going on in this country, I think we have to appreciate what we have.
There's just about 8 months more to the next elections. Do you see yourself having enough time to be able to execute all the plans you have?
Well, like I said, I have short and long-term plans. Right now, I'm focusing on how to market this president. I'm not saying he's not been marketed well, right? I'm just adding to the fray. The more, the merrier. It's like, having a team and you bring a defensive midfield, you add to it, you beef it up. Because the guys at Status have been doing an amazing job. PK, Tano, brilliant mind. Keketoma has a legal background. All that helps to spice up everything. So I'm coming with my own style, with my own approach to add to that. So, Fabian, even 2 months, it's a lot of time when we get into elections. Perceptions can be changed overnight, right? You can sway people in a second. So,
in a frank conversation, the idea of bringing someone like you now to the office of the president and you trying to engage the public now, getting them closer to the presidency, is this just the president suddenly realizing that I need to be closer to the people, I need to have that touch because of the election around the corner?
No, that's not a problem. Like I said, the problem lies with me. I just told you, for over 2 years, the president always wanted me to come on board. But I have my own family dynamics, I have stuff going on. So finally, I just decided to come on board. One of the reasons that really moved me coming on board is this, Fabian. After the August 10 saga in this country, a lot changed in my mind about Sierra Leone. A lot changed in my mind about Sierra Leone. A lot changed. My perception, the way I look at things, the reason, the rationale behind what happened changed the way I look at things in Sierra Leone. So that was one of my key motivations for taking up this job. And I believe there was a huge information gap within the people and the government. And like I said, I've said this 3 times, that's the void I'm here to fill.
Phoebe asked a question about sometimes we need government representatives to come out and talk about issues. I'll tell you for a fact that, for example, I have tried a lot with some ministers who've never come out. The only time you hear those ministers are when they celebrate international days around what they do. Then you hear them make statements. But when there are critical issues, you reach out, you try to talk. Instead, the Ministry of Information would send and they would talk. But these are not the real authorities that should come out and speak. So that is a serious challenge we face. So sometimes, in fact, that helps in fueling the fake news, the misinformation and disinformation. So what's the strategy in actually getting some of these media shy people to really understand that when you take up public office, you have to face the public? Because that is critical, especially in this in the build-up to the general elections already. If I need you, you don't come out, people then form opinion that might be wrong. So, but you've created that opportunity for them. So how do we deal with all of those things, Mike?
Well, I have not met the different line ministries on MDAs yet. That's like kind of a long-term plan, like maybe creating a database or a hub wherein if you have information, it's like 24-hour on the go, you can access it without even calling the minister, or you can just type your questions. These are all initiatives that I have. But my role here is the president. My role here is just the president. Right. It's not, even though, yes, the president oversees all the ministries.
But the connection is, where they blunder, it comes back to affect the president. Because coming to election, which is like about 8 months away, the ministers are not going to be on the ballot boxes as the candidates. It's the president's face who's going to be there. And their flaws or their successes and failures come back to the people who would be making the decisions about the president. So that in itself is a very significant connection.
It is. I agree with you totally, it is. That's why I said we'll keep interfacing, all right? It's like it takes time. Maybe you build systems, because just like you said, I will call a president, or we'll come and sit down, or call the ministers, we come and sit down. We agree on an MOU, how to get information. If I want to reach you, get their numbers. But it's possible maybe they are busy, or maybe probably they are shy to come on TV, they don't want to be seen, they don't want to be heard, which of course it's wrong, because if you're sitting out there, you're there to represent the people. But like I said, my approach is going to be a bit aggressive in a good way, you understand? Like if I want information, I don't have to sit down, I will go out there, meet the ministers there, talk to you, get the information in my hand, and come if in case anyone wants that information, I will give that information out to that person. So like I said, my role is specifically the president, right? It's like everything that hovers around the president, everything that the president is about to do, everything in the president's initiative, his achievements, his plans, and all that is what I want to disseminate out to people, for people to see, for people to know, and to see how best we can diffuse this misinformation and disinformation out there.
Just one quick, but let me put you on the spot with this.
Right.
So now you're coming into office. If it gets to a point where the people are crying that things are hard, things are difficult, but all the president would be hearing is, "The power you, they walk, you, they try, your people are happy," should we blame you?
Well,
in essence, should we blame you if the president doesn't get to hear what the public is saying?
I would take full responsibility for that. Yes, Fabian, because one of my specific role is to take the message from the people to the president, and take the message from the president to the people. Like I rightly said, bring the people to the president. So if I'm always on social media, like it's easy, you can hear the cries out there. Like I said, I can get in touch with you. We don't have to sit here on camera to talk. Maybe we'll meet somewhere. "Hey, Fabian, what's going on? I've been going." You say, "Hey, Mike, I had this is what are you guys doing about it?" Fabian, we can share content, we can talk just like on a roadside about issues, and you get clarification and I get clarification. I can take that's very important and it doesn't have to be formal all the time. You understand what I'm saying?
What about the people who probably sell at Abacha Street? The people probably in Kailaun, those in Makini, in Kono, in Kabbalah, those people who are probably, wheelbarrow pushers, how can such people get their feelings, their thoughts about, the situation of the country or their idea of the president through to the president?
That's why I'm here. Fabian, I grew up in Kisi, right? I'm not from any affluent family, right? I'm a serviceman. I can interact with anyone, right? I can relate to anyone. I can get to anyone. I know the language, I know the messages, I know how to talk to anyone out there. So that is why I'm going to be the face for these people. These are the people I'm going to talk with. These are the people I will interact with. I told you I'm not going to sit at State House, right? I'm not going to sit there. I have an office there, but I'm not going to, every morning I sit and look at files and look at that. No, I'm going to go down to those people. Like, let me give you an instance. The president did a tour for 6 electoral districts across the country. A lot of people don't know I was there. I was there. I toured with the president all over. And when I toured with the president, I was not sitting where the president was sitting, like sitting behind the president for the camera or anything. I was outside, right, scanning views, tapping ideas, looking at people, what people say. These are, even within the stronghold of the SLPP, you have people who have sentiments. You hear them. These are the messages. When I go, I sit down with the president, I see him 8 o'clock at night. If I go up to the lodge, I sit down and say, "Hey, Pa, this is going on. This is going on." And I will be surprised if the president knows. He has ears. Most of those things the president already knows. He sees them. He knows about it. He has people besides me who will tell him what is going on. He's familiar about it. But government reactions are slow. There are bureaucracies. There are certain issues. If you want permanent fixed for them, it takes time. But you have a remedy now. I am here. And the reason why I'm here is to fill that void, Fabian. That void, if you want an access to information that hovers around the president, I will provide it to you.
What happens if you fail? Would you resign?
I'm not going to fail. I'm not someone who look at failure. I'm not. I'm a tough skin, I'm a thick skin, I've gone through a lot. Failure is not part of my portion.
Okay, let me rephrase that.
Yes, go ahead.
What happens if there are barriers in the office, unforeseen barriers in the office, that would prevent you from achieving the level of success or the success you intend to achieve in office?
That is why for every work, for every project, you must have barriers. I already foresee. There are some of them I'm already speculating, right? It's about finding ways to go around them. It's about finding ways to navigate through them. So that's why I'm saying failure is not part of me. Failure is not my passion. I'm here to succeed. I'm here to make sure the president's message gets out to the people. And it's easy work to do. Trust me, it's very easy to do. As long as you're in touch with the people, as long as you know their issues, as long as you have them come closer to you, listen to you. So I am determined to succeed. I am determined to make sure the president gets a second term. I am determined to make sure the people believe in the president. I am determined to make sure people know that the president has done a lot. Most of the things we're hearing on social media are all fake, are lies. And I am going to show them this with evidence.
All right, welcome back. This is Wake Up Sierra Leone here on AYV Television and Radio. Remember, we're live on Facebook, AYV News. Drop a comment there, question, just your opinion about the issue we're discussing, and we would factor your opinion into the conversation.
Right, let me run through some messages quickly on Facebook. Joe B. Bangali Jr. is saying if there are any barriers, we'll go around them or break them. Simple. Fatoma Sambolt is saying, okay. So I will not go through the messages that look at comparison with other people at State House and all that. Just speak to the issues we're discussing here. George Lavalley is saying Mike is coming into this role with a fresh perspective, with the understanding that the president and the people should be connecting in a much better way. President Bio has achieved a lot within his first mandate, but communicating his development has been a huge area of gap. The people want more engagement from the presidency, and that's where Mike fits in. Eddie Grant is saying, responding in relation to how our people behave when get appointed, I wish him all the best. Interesting comment here this morning. Mike Berewa, aka, interesting messages this morning on our page. And Mike Berewa, my only concern is that I hope the guys you meet at State House working in the communication department cooperate with you fully. Or Sam Conte is saying, dressed in a flamboyant suit, finding all the good ideas about his work. I hope he implements them. That's from Eddie Grant. Ishmael Lansana is saying, great, Mr. Berewa. Hope you would deliver as promised. Welcome, Mike. This is a first test. You don't pass. You deserve a deputy spokesman. Interesting comment here this morning. Mike, I wish you well in your office. Please forget about PK and Keketoma. In this, they did nothing to improve the communications aspects. Okay. It is very... Congratulations, Mike. Is fit for purpose. Suleiman Mbala Kone is saying, Gasimu Fofana is saying, Mike will surely be the people's director. Emma C. Chelsea FC saying, congratulations, Mike. Ronald Toure is saying, for sure, Mike will fail. The communications department of the president has failed him. I'm going to take two more messages. There are so many messages that time will not permit me to go through all of them here this morning. AYV, I understand Unawan. Okay, Abdul Ekabo, that's the beauty of our democracy. Belgium Bank Senior is saying, congratulations, Mike. SN News Blog is saying, continue the good work, bro. Bira. Okay, I think I have to all the messages there. All of them are almost complimentary messages this morning. But just as we try to round off this conversation, Mike, what are the clear strategies in ensuring that at the end of the day, the bridge, the communication bridge you look forward to constructing is one that is solid, one that can actually transport information to and fro the office from the presidency to the people, from the people to the presidency, and also there's that junction that both can meet?
Well, like I said, there's already existing structures at State House. Like, they have an amazing team. You have an amazing team of people who have background in mass communication. You have an amazing team of people who are journalists, amazing team of people who've been in the media landscape for a very long time, right? I am coming with a different perspective, like more modern way of reaching out to people, like the local people. So that is a strategy, unless maybe you want me to just outline them A, B, C, D to all that. And the thing I said, we are going to officially launch the president and the people. It's going to be big. Like, we are planning on that right now. It's going to be in first week in December. We are not sure because we are also looking at the president's schedule. I think he has a pending meeting with OPEC in Egypt, the climate change thing in Egypt. And so we're looking to see how best we fit into his schedule and all that. But it's going to be the first week of December, this December, I bring the president out to the people, like I just said. That's one way. And then after that, subsequently, I'll also be hosting, like, bringing people here, like ministers, like discussing topics that are trending and in minds of people, social issues that sticks directly with the president, that has to do with the president, directly. Everything on social media I have to talk about, but thing that has to do with the president, has to do with president's work. I think the president has to know about it and bring the president's feedback back to the people. So there's a range of strategies. Like I said, now I am focusing on what's like a rapid response, focusing on how the president's message gets to the people. They understand it fully. They don't see it as a propaganda. They see it like something, this is actual, this is fact. The president has done this. I show them pictorially, I show them with evidence, tangible evidence, and then bring their response back to the president until we go through the second phase. Then after the second phase, I don't know what my role is going to be. If I'm still there are long-term sustainable ideas that I can bring. Then I bring the technical people and see we walk around it.
When you talk about you don't know what the second phase holds, does that mean Mike is? Oh, okay. I thought it's the government. I was going to ask, is Mike only being brought in to cover the 8 months and see the re-election of President Berewa and goes away? No,
I'm not going to go away. I'm here to stay. I'm here to work for my people. Somewhere there's a lot of things people don't know about me. Maybe I will find another time to discuss that because of time. But my role here, like I said, is very specific, very, very specific. It's like the president and the people. Under that, there is a lot to it. But my role here is to make the president available to the people and make the people available to the president. That's my role.
And that traffic is usually one way. Mostly people get to hear from the president through his speeches when he's covered live or through reports about the president. Hardly so does the people get to communicate with the president.
Well, Fabian, I think we're just going in circles again. But already entirely mentioned that, like ways that I'm going to use, the ways I see how information can be disseminated to
what would you place premium on?
Outreach.
Communicating from the president to the people, or from the people
Both.
to the president?
Both. It doesn't go one way, because communication also, for communication to be effective, you have to get the feedback from the respondent, right? You people who are in that field, you already know what I'm talking about. It's like communication is only effective when it gets to this person and the person responds to the communication, or it's used effectively for an intended purpose. So my role is going to be a both. It's like interfacing the people and the president and the people. How do I do that? I already told you I'm going to use a lot of medium. I'm going to use UPBM, I'm going to use Samuel, I'm going to use the people in the Abacha market, I'm going to use the people in the ghetto, I'm going to use the people in Tonkolili, I'm going to use the people in Bo, Kono, Kabbalah. I'm going to touch with them. I'm going to go there, ask them questions, what is going on, follow through with them, bring this message to the president, and you will see the president responding to them. That is the role. We already discussed this with president. When president gave me the position, I told him, what am I bringing to the fray? Like, because there is an amazing team at State House. Don't take that away from them. Maybe probably their own approaches, more based on policy, based on how they go about it. Maybe they have, certain organogram or how to deal with their information thing. Mine is different. This is a terms I've already discussed with President, and we sat down, we discussed it, and he's pleased with it. So my approach is going to be different. It's going to be on the go. It's going to be more intentional. It's going to be clinical. It's going to be like with the people and with the President. So that's why I'm here. Like I said, I am going to open door. I have an open door policy. I'll be interacting with Samuel. I want to be a friend with you. I want to be a friend with Fabian. I want to be a friend with other newspapers. I want them to know me. I want them to see me as one of them. If they have issues that has to do with the president, that has to do with the president's work, and how we can help them also to discern. Because the thing about your work also, it's very important. Your work is not only to share critical news. Your work is also to educate and inform people, right? So some of this information, you need them. You need them on the go. But maybe there are roadblocks. There are reasons why you are not disseminating this information. Maybe there are reasons why you think you don't have the authority to do it. Maybe there are reasons why you are not motivated to do it. So I'm here to fill that void. I'm here to be the interface between you people and the president and the people. Because you also, even though you are part of this media landscape, you are also a Sierra Leonean. You have things that are not right. You have things that you're not happy with. Behind the camera, you tell me what you're not happy with. And these are the issues I want to hear. And these are the issues I want to take to the president. And these are the issues I want the president to reply and bring back those information back to you. So that is why I'm here. My approach is going to be simple, it's going to be explicit, it's not going to be too formal. It's just going to be the president and the people.
We have to let you go. But Mike, just before we do that, I think your job starts here. So this is what Fodejana is saying. Mike, congratulations. Can you please tell the PA Edsa Tarif is killing us? Slowly, let him look into it, please. So it's interesting. But and Eddie Grant is saying, with this your appointment, can we see President Bill walking on the streets of Freetown, waving to his people with no bodyguards?
Well, the president did that in McKinney. When we went to the women's, were you there? Because the female Premier League thing. Were you there, Fabian?
Are you asking because I'm female?
Yes. Because it's a woman empowerment.
I was there virtually.
Okay, you'll stay there. But anyway, Samuel, yes. The president did that, and I was so impressed. And these are some of the approaches I'm going to use. When we were heading to Kabbalah, the president packed. There was a village just off McKinney. He came from his car, and everybody was so happy in a jubilant mood. And, he talked to them, telling them to stay out of violence, telling them to give peace a chance. Sierra Leone, it's a small country. We are one country. We are one people. And these are some of the approaches I want. So, of course, yes, you've seen president coming out in the streets, interacting with people, and interfacing with the public. Not all the time. You don't want your president to always be there because of security risks and other reasons surrounding that. But yes, these are some of the things I want to see the president doing, and I believe that will happen.
It's just 1 minute more before we let you go, but could you share your social media handles? Because there are people who do not have your number, who would also want to ask you questions or bring certain things to your notice.
Phoebe, and I follow you on social media. I follow Wise. The reason why I follow you people, because I think you have a lot of insights you give. Your programs are educative. I am on social media. My page is open. I have not made it a public figure yet. It's just social media thing. It's not like an official page. I'm still going to work on that in the background. But yes, I'm available.
What's the best medium to reach you on social media?
Facebook.
Okay. What's your Facebook handle?
MYK. Berewa, Mike Berewa.
Thank you so very much, Mike. It's been a pleasure having you here this morning. We know when next we have you here is to discuss issues around the presidency and not what Mike has been appointed to do. But thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you here this morning.
Thank you so much.